Booker's Bourbon releases the third batch of the year, and there's some other new releases I'm interested in as well. Well, it's that time of the year, so for those that may not be as familiar, the bourbon world and the whiskey hunting game and all that stuff, when you get towards the end of the year, this time frame we're in right now, between September and December, there's just a lot of drops. There's a lot of new whiskeys that come out, limited editions, some new releases that are just standard or whatever the case is, but there's a lot going on in the whiskey world typically. You have holidays coming up, there's different occasions to go buy bottles and celebrate, or maybe just add into your collection. So here are the ones that I'm most interested in, at least currently. Bottle number 1 is sitting right next to me, Booker's Bourbon. This is the third batch of the year for 2024, and I've heard a lot of the things, right? The price has gone up on Booker's. I've heard it's not as good as it once was. They're trying to just market to you with the packaging. Yeah, I get all those things. Don't care. Still gonna buy the bottle every time I see it. I'm just one of those people that buy every single batch. I just enjoy it. And there's some, yes, that I enjoy more than others. I get that. But at the end of the day, I still really like the product. And there's just something about those bottles. And I think there's some element of marketing to it, no different from the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, to where you get each batch. And it's just another way for me to get more bourbon and continue to buy this bottle and provide repeat buys. But at the same point, if I pass up on a batch and then later on hear how good it is, and then I try to go find it, and then I can't find it, it's a whole thing. When people talk about FOMO being real in bourbon, that's absolutely true. So I buy every Booker's batch that I find when I come across it. All right, number 2, High West, a Midwinter Night's Dram, Act 12. It is a bottle from High West Distillery that this is one where I don't necessarily chase every batch, or I don't need every batch. The bottle that I had, I don't actually remember which act it was, but it's a bottle that I really enjoyed, and I've said this on multiple occasions of when it starts snowing or when it starts getting cold outside and you start a fire and you need a neat pour, sitting in a glass, just relaxing, maybe you're not working that day, whatever the case is, and you're just hanging out. To me, that's the go-to bottle. That's one of the ones that I go to quite frequently in that scenario. So I bought one a couple years ago. I don't remember the act, don't even remember what year I bought it, but I'm running low and almost out of it now. So I think it is one that I do want to go back to and try to see if I can find another bottle. I have heard that each year recently they've been upping the production of it. It seems like it's a little bit easier to find, that there's more going out than ever before type of thing. So I think I could find it. It seems like it might be doable. It doesn't seem outrageous, but it's also one that if I don't find it, then I'm not gonna pay secondary or anything like that trying to find this bottle, hunt it down, nothing like that. But if I come across it, I definitely will buy it. Number 3 is Sagamore 9-year-old Straight Rye. This bottle actually is one that's interesting to me just because of the 8-year. So the 8-year was on my list last year, bottles I was trying to find, trying to hunt, all that stuff. And what happened is I didn't find it. That's what happened. I actually went through the distillery website, tried to purchase it. Then it came out and told me that initially it said I had it, and then I bought it. And then I got an email later saying something had happened and whatever, inventory, this and that, and I didn't get it. So I just kind of assumed that I would not ever find this bottle. And then there was like this private event. I got hired to do a tasting one time. And on my way to that tasting, I just happened to stop off at this liquor store. I actually was getting a gift for the person that we were doing the tasting for. And while I was in there, I happened to see this Sagamore 8-year just sitting there. So of course I grabbed it. The guy at the liquor store was actually confused and was like, I didn't even know anything about this bottle. And I just told him I was very surprised that you guys have this just sitting here, which then led to other conversations. We ended up talking about other bottles in his store that maybe he wasn't as familiar with, but they had a very good selection, and I was able to grab that 8-year and a few others. So given the history and how much I enjoyed the 8-year, all that stuff, I'm actually looking forward to the 9-year. Some people have already tried these things, right, and already feel like the 9 isn't as good as the 8 and all this stuff. But to me, that's just the name of the game. That's going to happen no matter what. Whatever bottle you look up, there's going to be somebody telling you how good it is and why you need to go buy it right now, and then somebody else is going to be telling you how much it sucks and don't waste your money and blah blah blah, and it's not as good as last year. That's why you buy it and try it for yourself, or go to a bar and try it for yourself, or whatever you need to do. But the key here is try it for yourself. Sticking with Sagamore, the Bottled and Bond Rye. To me, there's just something about a craft distillery releasing a Bottled and Bond product that it's like a level of achievement, or just like a achievement unlocked type of thing, right? Like you could put out an 8-year product, a 9-year product that's not necessarily yours, that maybe you bottled, somebody else distilled, or whatever the case is. But when you actually start releasing a product that's bottled and bond, still doesn't necessarily mean that you distilled it. But when you know that a distillery distills that, it's just a level of achievement. It's just like, okay, we've reached this point now where the whiskey that we laid down 4 years ago is ready, and it starts to kind of set the tone. For me, I think about New Riff. New Riff Bottled and Bond, they actually didn't even release anything prior. They released it under a different label. That old label was the old whiskey that they sourced, And then when they had their products ready to go, it was under their name and it was a bottle-to-bond product that they released. There's just something about it that just kind of shows me like where they're at. And then you start to get excited. So just like with New Riff years ago, a 4-year product, even at that point, I was very excited to see like, okay, here's where they are at 4 years. This is really good. Where are they going to be in 6? Where are they going to be in 8? Where are they going to be at 10, 12, and so on? So for me, it's just really exciting anytime a brand can get to that mark. All right, number 5, Larceny Barrel Proof Batch C924. So Larceny and Elijah Craig both release 3 batches a year, and there's always this talk that the C batch, or the 3rd batch of the year, is the best one of the year. That was absolutely the case last year for both of them. I haven't got a chance to try Elijah Craig C batch yet. I've heard good things, but it just doesn't seem like that C batch is running away. I have heard pretty good things about the Larceny Barrel Proof C batch already, so that's a good sign. But again, just because somebody else says it's good does not mean it's going to align with my palate. But I am excited to try it, and this is their first bottle with the new label, so again, marketing, but it's always exciting. So given the fact that Larceny seems to be improving with each batch, the C batch is supposed to be the best, new label, all these things, I'm willing to take a gamble on it and see what it's about. So there you go. There's some bottles that I'm looking for right now. Found one of them already, and then found a bonus next to it. Hopefully I find the other 4 and more, I'm sure. There'll be plenty of bottles to choose from. Which one are you looking forward to the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it to the end of this video, you might as well like, subscribe, do all the things. And now you can even follow me on Patreon. As always, I appreciate all the love and all the support you all show. Thank you so much for all of it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.